My girlfriend exposed my financial struggles on TikTok for clout, laughing at my budget. I commented, "That's because I'm paying your $16,800 credit card debt." Then I cut her off completely. Her followers quickly turned on her as the repossession truck pulled up to take her car. I, Maxwell Max Crawford, 32, just ended my 3.5-year relationship via TikTok comment. Didn't plan it that way, but here we are. My girlfriend, Bree Pierce, 28, and I have been together since we met at a mutual friend's birthday party in college. We'd been talking seriously about getting engaged for the past 6 months, looking at venues, discussing guest lists, the whole 9 yards. I even bought the ring, a $3,200 princess-cut diamond sitting in my sock drawer, waiting for Christmas morning when I planned to propose at her parents' house. We live in my 2-bedroom apartment in downtown, but she moved in officially last spring after her lease expired. We have a joint savings account with $8,500 earmarked for our house down payment, something we'd been building toward for 18 months. The plan was simple: get engaged this Christmas, married next fall, house by the following spring. Everything seemed perfectly on track, or so I thought, until my colleague Jeremy forwarded me a TikTok video during our morning stand-up meeting at work. The video was Bree in my kitchen, filming my budget spreadsheet that I keep magneted to the fridge. For context, I'm a senior project manager at a mid-sized tech consulting company. Make about $89,000 a year. Not rich by any means, but comfortable enough for someone my age in this market. I budget religiously because I'm planning for our future: the house, the wedding, kids eventually, retirement. Every month, I track everything meticulously in a detailed Excel spreadsheet. Rent, utilities, groceries, savings contributions, discretionary spending, debt payments, the whole financial picture. It's printed out and stuck to my fridge with a magnet so I can reference it daily. Her TikTok showed her zooming in on specific budget lines with dramatic commentary. Eating out, $75 for the entire month. She's cackling. Entertainment, $50 monthly budget. More exaggerated laughter. Clothing allowance, $40 per month. She's practically dying laughing at this point. The caption read, "POV, your boyfriend is giving major Ebenezer Scrooge energy. This man really budgeted $75 for eating out for the entire month. Tell me you're cheap without actually telling me you're cheap. The audacity." The video already had 340,000 views when Jeremy showed it to me. The comment section was absolutely brutal. "Girl, run and don't look back. He's going to make you split the check at McDonald's on your anniversary. This is genuinely embarrassing, bestie. You deserve so much better than this cheapskate. Not the $40 monthly clothing budget. I'm literally screaming. What is this, the Great Depression?" I sat there in the conference room, watching my colleagues pretend they hadn't seen it while clearly trying not to make eye contact, feeling absolutely humiliated and exposed. But I was also genuinely confused, because here's what her TikTok viewers don't know, what she conveniently left out of her little comedy routine. First, I'm paying off her credit card debt, $16,147.23 as of yesterday's statement. Second, the car she drives to her part-time marketing job, I'm making those monthly payments, $385 every month for the past 14 months. Third, her phone bill on my family plan, $75 monthly. Fourth, that designer purse she posted about last week, the one that got 50,000 likes, I bought it for her birthday, $750. So yeah, my entertainment budget is a tight $50 per month because I'm spending $745 monthly on her various bills and expenses. My clothing budget is restricted because I just dropped over $3,000 on an engagement ring that's supposed to represent our commitment to building a life together. My eating out budget is conservative because I'm trying to save for our shared future while managing her financial mistakes from the past. The budget she was mocking as Scrooge energy is literally the financial discipline that's allowed me to support her for the better part of 2 years while she builds her influencer brand and focuses on her creative projects. Every line item she was laughing at represents a conscious choice I've made to prioritize our relationship and future over my immediate gratification. I didn't even stop to think about the consequences. The anger and humiliation just boiled over, and I commented directly from my work account. That's because I'm paying your $16,800 credit card debt, your $385 monthly car payment, and your $75 phone bill. But sure, go ahead and make fun of my budget to the internet. I posted the comment, immediately closed the app, and tried to focus on my presentation about Q3 project deliverables and resource allocation. But by lunchtime, my phone was absolutely exploding with notifications. My comment had somehow gotten 127,000 likes and was climbing rapidly. The reply threads were absolutely insane. Hold up, wait a minute. Oh snap, so he's not actually cheap at all. He's just financially responsible while completely supporting her lazy behind. She really just exposed herself, huh? The way my jaw literally just hit the floor reading this. When you try to drag your man but accidentally reveal you're the financial burden in the relationship. Her original video's comment section had completely flipped. People were absolutely ripping her apart now that they understood the full context. Someone had even created a stitch video with text overlay that read, "When you try to embarrass your boyfriend online but accidentally expose that you're completely financially dependent on him." She called me 18 times during my lunch break. I declined every single call. Then she had the audacity to show up at my office building at 2 p.m., somehow getting past building security to the main lobby. The receptionist called me down. Apparently Bree was there crying, mascara running everywhere, demanding to speak with me immediately. "You completely humiliated me in front of hundreds of thousands of people. How could you air our private financial business like that?" she sobbed. "You literally made a video mocking my budget and financial responsibility to 340,000 people first," I replied calmly. "That's completely different. I was just being funny, making lighthearted content." "Funny? You made me look cheap and financially irresponsible to hundreds of thousands of strangers. I'm neither of those things. I'm just paying your bills while trying to save for our supposed shared future. You offered to help with those payments. You said you wanted to support me while I got back on my feet." "I offered to help you get back on your feet 18 months ago when you were between jobs and struggling. That was supposed to be temporary assistance, not a permanent financial arrangement. You haven't made a single payment toward your own debt since I started helping. Because I'm trying to build my career. My influencer work is finally starting to gain traction and I need to focus on creating content. Your influencer work apparently consists of posting TikToks making fun of me for being financially responsible. That's quite a business model." She started crying even harder, her voice getting louder and drawing stares from other people in the office lobby. I honestly didn't care about the scene she was making anymore. "We're done, Bree. This relationship is over. Pack your stuff from my apartment. I'll be changing the locks this weekend. You can't just break up with me over one stupid video." "I can and I am. And just so we're clear, I'm also cutting you off financially. The credit card payments stop today. The car payments stop today. You're getting removed from my phone plan tomorrow morning." Her face transformed instantly from sad and apologetic to panicked and calculating. "Wait, no, you can't do that. I need those things to survive. You should have thought about that before you decided to make fun of the budget that pays for them." I walked back to my office, blocked her number across all platforms, and tried to salvage what was left of my workday. The rest of the afternoon was a complete blur of notifications and messages. Jeremy pulled me aside around 4 p.m. "Dude, half the office has seen that video by now. I think HR might want to have a conversation with you tomorrow." Sure enough, my manager Monica Williams called me into her office first thing the next morning. She looked genuinely uncomfortable with the whole situation. "Max, we need to discuss this social media situation that's been brought to our attention. Several employees have expressed concerns about workplace professionalism and how this viral incident might reflect on the company." I pulled up both the original TikTok and my comment response, walking her through the entire timeline and context. She listened carefully, occasionally nodding or raising an eyebrow. "I understand your frustration, and honestly, your response seems justified given the circumstances," she said finally. "However, when someone's personal life becomes this publicly visible, especially involving financial details." She paused, choosing her words carefully. "The promotion we discussed for next quarter, the senior project lead position with the $15,000 salary increase, might need to be delayed until this whole situation dies down and stops being a distraction. $15,000. My well-deserved promotion that I'd been working toward for 2 years was now on hold because my girlfriend decided to mock me for internet clout. The promotion that would have helped us buy that house, plan that wedding, start building the life we'd been talking about. When I got home that evening, I immediately started making calls. First, I contacted the credit card company and explained that I'd been helping my now ex-girlfriend with payments, but needed to remove my authorized user access immediately. The customer service representative confirmed that since I wasn't actually a co-signer on the account, just someone who had permission to make payments, I wasn't legally obligated to continue. I'd just been doing it voluntarily out of love and commitment to our relationship. Next, I called the car dealership. The vehicle is technically in Bree's name, but the monthly payments were set up through my bank account because I'd co-signed when her credit score was too damaged for her to qualify a loan. I explained the situation and told them I was stopping all payments effective immediately. The finance manager informed me that she would need to refinance the loan in her name only or face potential repossession within 30 days. Then I called the phone company and had her line removed from my family plan. $75 per month back in my pocket starting tomorrow. Finally, I sat down at my kitchen table with my laptop and completely redid my monthly budget spreadsheet. I added back that $745 per month to my savings contributions and discretionary spending categories. The numbers were honestly shocking. I'd been so focused on helping her that I hadn't fully realized how much of my financial progress I'd been sacrificing. You know what? My life just got significantly less expensive, and my financial future just got a lot brighter. Over the next 4 days, the fallout was absolutely wild beyond anything I could have imagined. My comment didn't just go viral within her original audience, it exploded across multiple platforms. Finance TikTokers, relationship advice accounts, and debt-free journey creators all made reaction videos. One particularly popular video titled, "Man Exposes Girlfriend's Debt After She Mocks His Responsible Budget," accumulated 2.8 million views in just 3 days. Bree panicked and deleted her original video, but hundreds of people had already screen recorded the entire thing. She posted a follow-up apology video that was really just her crying and claiming that I had violated her privacy by sharing her personal financial information with strangers. The comments section wasn't sympathetic. You violated his privacy first by posting his budget without permission. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, girl. Maybe get an actual job instead of making fun of people who pay your bills. She deleted that video too when the comments became overwhelmingly critical. Meanwhile, Bree tried every manipulation tactic in the book to get me to reconsider. On day 1, she texted from her friend's phone since I'd blocked her main number, saying we needed to discuss this situation like mature adults. I replied simply, "Nothing left to discuss. Remove your belongings by Sunday, or I'm donating everything to charity." Day 2 brought a different approach. She showed up at my apartment with reinforcements, her mother Helen Pierce and her best friend from college. I refused to let them inside, conducting the entire conversation through my closed front door while I sat comfortably on my couch. Helen Pierce's voice came through the door, dripping with indignation. "You cannot just abandon her like this, Maxwell. She's struggling and needs support during this difficult time." "I'm not abandoning anyone," I replied calmly from my couch, not even bothering to get up. "I'm simply stopping voluntary payments for someone who chose to publicly mock me online." "But the car payments. She needs that vehicle to get to work and maintain her independence." "The car is registered in her name. She's perfectly capable of making the payments herself or returning it to the dealership." Her best friend chimed in, "You're being completely vindictive over one tiny mistake. She's apologized multiple times." One public mistake viewed by 340,000 people, mocking the financial responsibility that was directly supporting her lifestyle. And she apologized for getting caught, not for doing it in the first place. They spent 20 minutes outside my door trying various guilt trips and emotional manipulation tactics. I just sat on my couch, updating my LinkedIn profile and browsing job postings, occasionally responding to their increasingly desperate arguments. Eventually, they gave up and left. Day 3 brought direct contact from the credit card company. Since I had only been an authorized payer rather than a co-signer, they needed to establish payment arrangements directly with the account holder. Bree called from yet another phone number. "The minimum payment is $285 per month and I can't afford that." "That's unfortunate, but it's not my problem anymore. You accumulated that debt with your spending choices, designer clothes, expensive restaurants, that Miami vacation with your friends last spring. You told me I could use the card for those things." I said you could use it for legitimate emergencies when you were temporarily unemployed. You've had steady income for 14 months and kept charging luxury items. This is financial abuse. You're trying to control me. I hung up immediately. Day 4 brought the car dealership calling her about refinancing options. With her credit score sitting at 580, she was denied for an independent loan. She called me completely hysterical. They're going to repossess my car if I can't make next month's payment. Then I suggest you make the payment. I can't afford $385 every month on top of everything else. Get a second job. Find a roommate to split expenses. Create an actual budget instead of mocking people who do, demonstrate some personal responsibility. You're really going to just let them take my car? I'm not letting them do anything. You're simply experiencing the natural consequences of your financial decisions. She hung up, but 10 minutes later, Helen called my personal cell phone. What kind of man abandons a woman in her time of need? The kind who spent 18 months financially supporting someone who then publicly humiliated him for being responsible. Your daughter made her choice when she posted that video. She's apologized repeatedly. She made one mistake. Ma'am, your 28-year-old daughter thought mocking my budget was entertaining content while I was paying her bills and saving for an engagement ring. Maybe you should have raised her to appreciate people who help her instead of mocking them for internet points. I hung up on her as well. 2 weeks later, the situation escalated dramatically. The car got repossessed on a Monday morning at 7 a.m. A tow truck showed up at her apartment complex, and naturally, she filmed the entire process while sobbing and talking about having nothing left. She posted it to TikTok with a caption about heartbreak and financial abuse, but conveniently didn't mention that the dealership had called her 5 separate times offering payment deferrals, reduced payment plans, and other alternatives to avoid repossession. She ignored every single offer because she genuinely believed I would cave at the last minute and resume payments. I didn't. The comments on her repossession video were split roughly 50-50. Half the viewers felt genuinely sorry for her situation, while the other half pointed out that she had mocked the man who was paying her bills. Someone commented, "Play stupid games, win repo trucks," and got 67,000 likes before she deleted the entire video. Then Helen Pierce made her biggest mistake yet. She somehow discovered where I work and called my office's main number, demanding to speak with my supervisor about my abusive treatment of her daughter. Monica Williams called me into her office looking genuinely confused and slightly amused. "Your ex-girlfriend's mother just called claiming you're financially abusing her daughter?" Pulled up my phone and showed Monica the entire timeline. The original TikTok video, the payment history from my bank statements, and the comment thread that started everything. Monica actually started laughing. "So let me understand this correctly. She made fun of you for budgeting while you were paying her bills, and now she's claiming abuse because you stopped paying?" That's an accurate summary of the situation. Tell her mother that if she calls this office again, we'll be involving our legal department for workplace harassment. Helen called 2 more times that week. Our HR department sent her a formal cease and desist letter. A month later, things took an even more absurd legal turn. I received an email from an attorney claiming that I had verbally agreed to pay Bree's living expenses indefinitely, and that stopping these payments constituted a breach of verbal contract. She was apparently seeking $15,000 in damages for the financial hardship caused by sudden withdrawal of promised support. I immediately forwarded the email to my friend who's a practicing lawyer. He called me back within an hour, laughing so hard he could barely speak. "Max, this is complete legal nonsense. You cannot sue someone for stopping voluntary payments made during a romantic relationship. Verbal agreements for ongoing personal support aren't enforceable contracts, especially when there's no consideration or formal terms. So I'm completely protected?" "Absolutely. Want me to write a response that'll make them back off permanently?" "Please do." He sent a formal legal response essentially stating, "My client made voluntary payments while in a committed relationship. The relationship ended due to the recipient's public mockery of his financial responsibility. All payments ceased accordingly. There is no breach of contract because no contract existed. Cease this frivolous legal action immediately or face a countersuit for harassment and legal fees." Her lawyer dropped the case within 48 hours. Meanwhile, my mortgage broker called with some unexpected complications. The viral video had somehow come to their attention during the routine background check process, raising questions about my financial stability and decision-making. I scheduled a meeting to address their concerns directly, bringing printed documentation of my actual financial responsibility, bank statements showing 18 months of voluntary payments, my updated budget reflecting improved savings rate, and my credit report demonstrating excellent payment history. The pre-approval actually went through with better terms than initially quoted, since my debt-to-income ratio had improved so dramatically after cutting off Bree's expenses. 3 months later, my life had transformed in ways I never anticipated. That extra $745 per month proved to be an absolute game-changer for my financial trajectory. My emergency fund grew to $28,000, putting me well ahead of the recommended 6-month expense cushion. I was now on track for a 20% down payment on a house by spring instead of the original 3-year timeline we'd planned. The work situation also resolved better than expected. Once the viral drama died down and people moved on to the next internet controversy, Monica reconsidered the promotion delay. "You handled the entire situation with remarkable professionalism," she told me during my quarterly review. "The way you documented everything and kept personal drama from affecting your work performance actually demonstrated the exact leadership qualities we need for the senior project lead role." I got the $15,000 raise effective the following quarter, plus responsibility for leading the new infrastructure modernization project, a high-visibility assignment that would position me well for director-level positions down the road. I also started dating again, something I honestly hadn't expected to feel ready for so quickly. At a company networking event, I met Nicole Martinez, a 31-year-old registered nurse who worked at the regional hospital. She was intelligent, financially independent, owned her own condo, and had been contributing to her 401k since graduating nursing school. When I mentioned during our third date that I kept a detailed budget spreadsheet on my refrigerator, her reaction was refreshingly different. "That's actually impressive," she said. "Would you mind if I took a look? I've been trying to optimize my own budget, and I could probably learn some techniques from your system." That's when I knew I'd found someone fundamentally different from Bree. Someone who appreciated financial responsibility instead of mocking it. As for Bree, she moved back in with her parents permanently after being unable to afford her apartment rent without my financial support. She tried to frame this on social media as healing and growing in a safe space with family, but her former roommate posted separately about having to find an emergency replacement tenant because some people don't honor their financial commitments. The credit card company offered her a settlement option. She could pay $12,000 immediately instead of the full $16,847 if she could come up with a lump sum. She couldn't. Instead, she's locked into a payment plan of $290 monthly for the next 7 years, assuming she never misses a payment or adds additional debt. The car situation resolved itself predictably. She couldn't get it back from repossession due to her damaged credit and inability to secure financing. Instead, she bought a 2009 Honda Civic with 160,000 miles from her uncle for $3,200, money she had to borrow from her parents. She posted about her new ride, trying to make it seem like a deliberate lifestyle choice, but people who remembered the original drama weren't fooled. Interestingly, Bree's entire social media presence shifted after the incident. She pivoted to budget-friendly lifestyle content, posting videos about thrifting, meal preparation, and cost-cutting strategies. Some of the advice was actually decent, though the irony wasn't lost on anyone who remembered her original video. One of her posts titled, "How I'm Paying Off Massive Debt," got 800,000 views, but she never mentioned how she accumulated that debt or who had been paying it for 18 months. People in the comments who remembered the original story occasionally called her out, but she consistently deleted those comments. The weirdest part of the entire experience has been the random recognition in public. Someone at Home Depot. "Hey, aren't you the budget guy from TikTok?" It's honestly surreal, but the interactions are generally positive. People often want to share their own financial responsibility stories or ask for budgeting advice. I've actually been contacted by 2 different financial literacy organizations asking if I'd be interested in speaking about budgeting and financial responsibility to young adults. Apparently, my situation resonated with people who felt pressured to overspend or been made to feel ashamed of being financially disciplined. I'm seriously considering it, If my experience can help other people avoid similar situations, that would give the whole mess some positive meaning. Most importantly, I never once felt guilty about my decisions or regretted walking away. Everyone kept calling me cruel or heartless, but here's what they consistently missed. I had offered to help Bree get back on her feet after a rough patch. The assistance was supposed to be temporary while she rebuilt her finances and established stable income. Instead, she used that time to increase her spending and lifestyle expectations while treating my budget, the very thing that enabled her lifestyle, as entertainment content for strangers. The budget she called Scrooge Energy was how I saved for an engagement ring. It's how I built a 6-month emergency fund. It's how I'm buying a house at 32 instead of renting forever. She called financial discipline cheap, but it's literally just being a responsible adult. My father called after seeing the video. "Good for you, son. Don't let anyone disrespect your values like that, especially someone you were planning to marry." As for Bree, I genuinely hope she figures out her life. Not because I want any kind of relationship with her, I absolutely don't. But watching someone spiral due to their own poor choices is sad regardless of personal history. She's young enough to recover from this situation, but it's going to require genuine work, humility, and probably some serious attitude adjustments about personal responsibility. The budget that started this entire situation? Still magneted to my fridge, still updated monthly, still something I'm proud of. Nicole has actually helped me add a dedicated house fund category and optimize my investment allocations. Some people live beyond their means hoping everything works out. I live within my means knowing everything will work out. That's not Scrooge energy, that's just being smart. And if being smart means I avoid people who mock my financial responsibility for internet clout, I'll take that trade every single time. Life's good, budget's better, peace of mind is absolutely priceless.